Hey, how's it going, guys? Mr. Boss for the win here, and in today's Red Dead Redemption 2 video, we are going to be solving the mystery of where is Gavin. So I'm sure you guys have heard this passing through many towns in Red Dead Redemption 2, someone seeming to call out for a man named Gavin. And he does this over and over and over again. It's sort of become Red Dead Redemption 2's took an arrow to the knee. Like, this is spreading like crazy, and people are wondering, where is Gavin and why is this man unable to find him? So in case you're wondering who this is, according to the strategy guide of Red Dead Redemption 2, this is technically Gavin's friend. And Gavin's friend can be found in 3 places. He can be found at the Rhodes Saloon, he can be found in Annesburg or Roanoke Ridge, and he can also be found in Saint Denis. Now, if you run into him, this is the encounter that you're going to have.
Good morning. Listen, have you seen... I'm looking for my friend Gavin.
I don't know any Gavins, I'm afraid.
English bloke. Lovely fella. He went missing and now I'm all alone.
Good luck.
That's too bad. Gavin!
So once you're done with that initial encounter, you find out that this stranger is Gavin's friend, and I decided to follow him around. I am at the Rhodes location. Again, you can find him in 3 different spots throughout the world, and he basically just does one big loop around like this little pavilion area, and he'll start saying things like, Gavin, where are you? Can anyone help me find Gavin? So clearly this guy is looking for Gavin, and it kind of makes you wonder, is his friend okay? What happened to him? Is there anything we can figure out about this certain story? Well, it turns out that we can. So what you want to do is actually either kill or hogtie Gavin's friend. Now, fun fact that you might not have known about Gavin's friend, and this is something else that's kind of interesting, he is an immortal. So you can kill him, but he will come back to life, which is strange because we'll talk about that a little bit later on, how something like that can actually occur. So don't be afraid to kill this guy, although I took the safer route because I didn't know that at the time. So I ended up hog-tying him, and I ended up looting his body. And when you loot his body, you'll actually get a mysterious letter to Nigel from Tom. So we found out that Gavin's friend, his name is Nigel, and he also has another friend named Tom. So let's actually go ahead and read this letter. It says, "Dear Nigel, I was so happy to hear from you. I cannot believe it, mate. My 2 friends, you and Gavin, boys I grew up with, now real rich and successful cowboys in America. That's incredible news. Well done, mate. Seriously, well done. I knew you and Gavin would find success over there. I mean, it stands to reason, a pair of boys from little old Maidenhead, Berkshire, now successful over in America. I might come and join you myself. Now that you have done so well, both of you rich and living in big mansions with servants and all them cattle, I remember when the height of your ambition was pretending you were a Londoner and seeing if you fooled those Scotch boys we met by the barracks. Funny thing is, Gavin never mentioned none of this in his letter. But he was always a bit of a quiet one, and I reckon you wrote after he did. Either way, I am made up for the pair of you, made up. Cowboys, millionaires, we miss you. Especially your mom, since your dad passed on, but she told me she was proud of you. Even Gavin's ma was happy. She said her usual piece about not thinking you had it in you, but she smiled and said she knew her boy would see sense or make sense of something eventually. Berkshire forever, your pal Tom. Then he says, P.S. I saw that bloke, Brian Gold, the other day in the market. He said some real odd things about you, which I said weren't true. Betty's laughing on the other side of his face now, ... And that right there is the letter. So that does give us some interesting details, and it kind of gives us our 3 main characters. We have Nigel, who is Gavin's friend, the guy we tied up, and the guy who is shouting for Gavin. We have Gavin, who seems to be lost, and we also have Tom, who appears to be friends of both of them, who still appears to be living in Berkshire. So this story sounds kind of interesting, and it almost seems as if Nigel, the guy we're talking to right now, has lied about his experience in America. because he's talking about rich, successful cowboys with mansions, servants, and cattle. And I don't know about you guys, but Nigel here doesn't necessarily look like he's a guy with big mansions, servants, and cattle. I mean, he sort of dresses that way, but I don't know if that's the case. You know, why would he be wandering around looking for his friend Gavin? You'd think someone rich and powerful would use other resources to ultimately find him. Now, another interesting thing to note here is that Tom also says he has received a letter from Gavin, but he didn't mention any of these things. He didn't mention the mansion, the servants, or the cattle. So it almost seems as if Nigel is lying and that Gavin maybe is saying a different story to Tom, that maybe their life over here in America isn't so great as they once thought. Now, before we get on to any more theories, we can actually find Gavin's friend Nigel in the epilogue as well, which is going to be about 7 to 8 years later. This guy is still looking for his friend Gavin 7 to 8 years later. You can find him in Blackwater, Tall Trees, Armadillo, or at the McFarlane Ranch. Take a listen to this encounter right now.
Hey, mister. I'm looking for my friend, Gavin. For Gavin.
Has he been gone long?
Yeah. Few years. Few bloody years. I can't remember what he looks like. I'm looking for him, but I don't know who he is.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I've wasted my life. I wasted my life looking. I looked, but I never saw. I saw nothing. Gavin.
Good luck.
Gavin. Oh, I am so worried.
So that is crazy. It still seems that after 7 or 8 years, Nigel is still looking for Gavin. And you can tell at this point, I think he's starting to go insane and realize that what he's doing is just nuts. It doesn't make any sense for him to be continuing to look for his friend. So now I want to talk about the different theories as to what could have happened to Gavin. So the first theory is that he is still somewhere in the world of Red Dead Redemption 2. However, something that counteracts that is that there's no voice actor and motion capture artist that is referenced for Gavin in the credits. And if he was a character that appeared, we would see him in the credits. So it's looking very, very unlikely that Gavin is actually in Red Dead Redemption 2. If he isn't someone that's like a physical character that we would see. Maybe there's a newspaper article, or maybe there's, an Easter egg that we have to find, but it doesn't look like there's going to be a physical character of Gavin. Number 2, and this is a theme that's been present in Red Dead Redemption 2, time travel. Could Gavin somehow gotten involved with time travel? We already know that there is a time traveling baby, Francis Sinclair, who is interested in the rock carvings of this world. So it would not be shocking if he maybe stumbled into some time travel and is now either in the future or in the past. That, of course, would make sense. Scenario number 3, he simply just ran away from Nigel. I mean, it's pretty clear that Nigel's sort of a weird fellow, and maybe he just didn't want to be friends with him anymore. I mean, especially if he was the only person you knew coming over to America, you might get pretty sick of him rather quickly. So that is something to keep in mind as well. And also, number 4, he could have gone back to Berkshire. He could have gone back to his home. Maybe he was tired of America and he didn't want Nigel to follow him. And by doing so, he just simply left his friend back in America. So I can't tell who the bad guy is here. Is it Nigel? Is it Gavin? Which one of them abandoned who? Or is there a deeper, greater story here? And as I mentioned, Gavin's friend Nigel is immortal, because if you kill him, if you see him in Rhodes and you kill him or something like that, he will respawn back in Armadillo or Blackwater later on in the game. So that's why I'm saying something kind of creepy is going on here. But I think for now, that sort of solves the mystery. We just need to sort of fill in the pieces as to what could have happened to Gavin, because we know he's not in game based off of the credit list. So where did he go? I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments down below. Let's see if we can figure out this mystery. I want to get you guys involved in the comments right now. If you did go on to enjoy this video, though, a like rating would, of course, be awesome. And also subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new, or you like daily Red Dead Redemption 2 videos like this. With all the way, guys, like I said, thanks so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.